PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all breads, whether you make whatever you make your stuffing with, or you don't eat stuffing. You say gluten-free, whole grain, rye, I just like like a sourdough. I don't know if you could there's a bread called like panettone or something. I've seen it in it's a bread that comes in a box. Whether you bake your bread, get it in a bag, get it in a box, paper, plastic, whatever it is. If you're wondering, what did I just tune into? That's a lot of people shared that, even regular listeners. It's time for Sleep With Me, a podcast that's here to keep you company so that you could fall asleep, to take your mind off of stuff. This is a classic real-time recipe episode, I think from about 5 or 6 years ago. Maybe even more, that I got a lot of listener feedback about. We'll make some stuffing and mashed potatoes together. And you could listen, you could not listen, you could fall asleep, or it could keep you company. That's what the show does. It's very different. So if you're already skeptical or doubtful, yeah, that's the way most people react to this show. So give it a few tries, see how it goes. I know it's a tough time of year to sleep. And that's why instead of taking a total break, we put out these seasonal highlight episodes. So I'm glad you're here, and I hope we can help you fall asleep. The structure show, we got this greeting, then we have support so the podcast can be free or optional to pay for it. Then there'll be a long meandering intro to ease you into bedtime, and then our bedtime story, which will be a real-time recipe episode. I'm so glad you're here. I really hope this podcast can help. And these sponsors are how we're able to do this for you free twice a week. Hey, everybody, it's Scoots. I don't know if you're giving gifts for the holiday season or getting them, but, you know me. I say, I hope I'm, on your behalf, I hope you're getting them. And I hope you say, hey, you know what I really want? I listen to Sleep With Me. I want some Sleep With Me branded sleep phones. Or if you have someone in your life that listens to something at bedtime, even if it's not Sleep With Me, you say, it would be cool, one of those Sleep With Me branded sleep phones. The most comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me, and you can only get them if you use our link, sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones. There's a couple different headbands to choose from, 3 different models of sleep phones. They are the most comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me. And by the way, if you're a runner, holy moly, they'll change the running game, especially in the winter. So get out there, get yourself some sleep phones, sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones, and use Sleep With Me at checkout for a little bit of savings. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones, and one word, Sleep With Me at checkout. Get those sleep phones, get those orders in right now. Happy holidays, everybody. All right, everybody, it is time for the Sleepy Supporter Zone, the one part of the podcast in each year where I pop my peas, if you please. Thank the listeners who supported the sponsors. That's how the show comes out free choice week. Most of our sponsors are direct response, meaning they base their support on the listeners who support them. So it really is a two-way street here. So that's why the Sleepy Supporter Zone exists. So I can thank the listeners, helping keep the show free, support all the work that goes into the podcast. And I want to thank Rosenberg, who got a Marlowe pillow. I think 2 Marlowe pillows. Guess what? I bought 2 Marlowe pillows too as a customer, and I love them. But thank you, Rosenberg. That was like right after the sponsor started running their spot. So huge help because that's exactly what they're tracking. Does somebody support them? Does someone let them know about it? Do you share about it? Are you excited? So thank you, Rosenberg, for getting those Marlowe pillows and filling out the form. If you support a sponsor, let them know about it. Let me know about it. Fill out the form at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sponsors so I can thank you. Like Rosenberg. That's the first part of the Sleepy Supporter Zone. The second part is you getting the support you need right now. If you're in need right now, there's links to resources you could connect with, including international resources in our show notes. There's a link there. Click it. It'll come up with a list of resources. It's also about being a part of positive change. change and taking action to say Black Lives Matter, stop API hate, support Ukraine. So there's links to resources where you can learn more and take action in our show notes. And the action I'm still trying to generate support for, and I'm trying to make it as simple as possible so you'll see more things. Sign up for our newsletter, sleepwithmepodcast.com/midnight mission, where we're supporting the Midnight Mission, which is a homeless shelter in LA that supports and has services for people experiencing homelessness. But you can also participate in your local communities, and that's a newsletter. It's a lot of fun. You'll get live shows. You'll get other stuff. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/midnight mission. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/midnight mission. And that's free. So we'd love to see you there. That's the end of the Sleepy Supporter Zone. Oh, Mr. Bard, a lot of people help out on the show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Song sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes too. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound are on the website. I am the mystery bard. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at jonathanmann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support dear Scooter on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcripts.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. Don't forget to get some sleep phones. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep phones. Use Sleep With Me at checkout for $5 off. And what do you say we get on with the show? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and friends beyond the binary. Are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. Because it's time for Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights and press play. I'm going to do the rest. And what I'm going to do is create a safe place where you can set aside whatever is keeping you awake, whether it's thinking, feeling, physical sensations, like any emotions, changes in temperature, seasons, travel, noise, whatever is keeping you awake. I'm going to try to take your mind off that. I'm going to use lulling, soothing, creaky, dulcet tones, pointless meanders, pauses, so pregnant, but so pregnant that are permanently, pauses permanently impregnated with puffy pauses. I don't know. I thought I could pull that one together, but I could. Jokes without punchlines. And punchlines that you'll miss. Punchlines, so if they were in proper context, would be so funny. Lines without punch, I'll definitely have that. And punch without lines, that's just a big mess on the floor, I think. Punch without lines. I was thinking of the drinking punch. And then you have Punch and Judy. Punch without lines, that would be Punch Punch. That was one of my one puppet show I did try to take out on. It was Punch without lines. The Punch has a mime show. And it turns out most people can enjoy Punch and Judy. One, because Punch has so many good lines. And two, it gets like doing a puppet mime show was before its time, I think. That's why I thought I'd use, I'm sure someone has done it much better than me, an actual puppeteer or, a whole puppet company, puppet theater company. But, sometimes my ambitions, or, they say delusions. That's what they say. You have delusions. Well, I have ambitions of delusional grandeur. And they say, hold on, we need to change. I say, okay, just hold the prescription pad, doc. And let me tell you this first. I do, Doc, do you know what I just said? Did it make any sense to you, Doc? Because I was waiting for my brain. I think I'm in the, actually, excuse me, I think I'm in the middle of a podcast intro, but I do have ambitions of delusional grandeur. That's what I had in this situation, because I said, one day I'll change. This is how it really started. Sometimes I get up with too much ambition. I said, one day I'll change puppetry forever. And today's that day. Instead of learning the lessons of do this, and then you got to learn, well, one, you need some puppets. Two, you need, it takes a lot of talent, a lot of skill, and a lot of experience to be a good puppeteer. Also puppets, you can't be, but I did, I decided to shortcut those things, puppet stage. And I did, card, you can get a lot, real far with cardboard, pretty far. So my biggest problem was that the Punch Without Lines show, it didn't, that also people said, what kind of show is it? Are you performing as a garbage box? And I said, no, this is a refrigerator box. And then someone said, what are you supposed to be, some kind of cheap robot in there? I said, no, this is a puppet show, sir, for children. So please move along right away. And I think he said something about this being his store. I said, well, that's not my problem. This is your store. I'm a busker. I'm here to busk. Here at the town square. I said town square supermarket. It was a mistake calling it that. Not my mistake. Their mistake. Anyway, where was I? Oh boy. I think I was trying to, if you're new here, welcome. This is a podcast to take your mind off stuff. I'm going to use strange techniques, but the whole thing is, while I was yammering there, you could say I was yammering, babbling, but trying to, I think originally I was trying to make a joke about, but I wasn't deconstructing jokes because I can't do that. Well, actually, I can. I mean, anybody can take something apart. I think I've heard that speech. I usually hear that 3 or 4 times a decade. But the reconstructing part. So I did deconstruct it because they said you have a joke, so you have a punchline and a setup, and I think you got to turn about. I think that's another part of it. I don't know if that's in a joke. Actually, I'm making a sleep podcast. So if you're new here, welcome. The whole idea of the podcast is, here's my question. What were you thinking about for the fast? Were you thinking about a man? You say, does he do that on purpose? They say, nope, my mouth's just I think like it's, what do they call that? That stuff's called novocaine that they use to numb your mouth. I'm one of those people, what do they call those when you, I have novocaine flashbacks in my mouth all the time, right when I'm talking. Usually it just happens to be when the recording's on. My bottom lip will just have a novocaine flashback mid-word. That's free too with the podcast. Another thing, it's the sum of all its parts. Another thing I get mixed up about, is it the sum of all parts is greater than its whole, or the whole is greater than the sum of its parts? Because and maybe this is my dyslexia talking about. I slow down. I say, okay, so is a pile of parts that you use? It's like all the parts come together to be more than the whole. I don't know, but anyway, the sum of the parts is greater than the whole. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. I think that's it. Because a joke would be, well, these are the things that Birbiglia does to bring his jokes together. Or, somebody else crafting jokes. Stephen Wright, one of my heroes. So that is the sum of the parts. Because you say, well, by themselves, they're just words or observations, but together, greater than their whole. In Scoots' part, it's kind of like, once you took that motorcycle apart, it's not going anywhere. And they said, well, why did you do that? I said, well, I thought I was going to make because I have ambitional delusions of grandeur. I was going to make this into a supercycle and, mobile puppeteering. and I was going to become, the first motorcycled busker. Anyway, if you're new here, so this podcast is meant to take your mind off stuff. I'm going to use all these different techniques, including that one I just said that I made up that I already forgot. And I'm not joking. What was it? I don't know. But, this will be a bit like Punch Without Lines, whether it's Punch and Judy or, fruit, or that one punch you used to make. This we've talked about on the podcast before. It's one part Sprite or 7-Up, one part tropical punch, fruit punch. I think there's other ingredients in there, but those are the two. And I think if you go 50-50, you're fine. Again, I know nowadays people are saying, well, none of that's good. I think sometimes people put like some sort of ice cream in there. Maybe do some ginger ale. Then, well, I don't know if ginger ale and fruit punch, I don't know if that does go together. You're right, Brain. Thank goodness you just saved everybody. Anyway, welcome to Sleep With Me. It's a podcast about your sleep. It's different. This podcast doesn't work for everybody, so give it a few tries. You're under no pressure for it to work. You're also under no pressure to fall asleep. I'll be here for an hour rambling at least. To take your mind off stuff, to just become background noise, to sit here and keep you company. Because I've been there. That's why I send my voice across the deep, dark night, because I've been there, sleepless, tossing and turning. And if I can bring a little bit of lightness, a little bit of silliness, a little bit of, competency by incompetence, it's not a joke. That's really how, if my incompetence can bring some, totally on purpose, just novocaine flashbacks. If that was, they won't, I tried to get it listed as a real thing and they said it's not real. And I said, well, it's a flashback. Go ahead and prove it. I said, I got 400 or 500 hours of recordings that are pretty good proof that novocaine flashbacks are real. Hello, is anybody there? Oh, I'm doing a podcast. So anyway, welcome. I'm glad you're here, and I really hope this podcast can help you fall asleep. I'm glad you're here, and thanks for stopping by. Hey, everybody, it's Scoots. It's the end of the year, and we're looking at 2023. And, if you could pause for a second and look back at, have you listened to Sleep With Me the whole year? Are you new? How long, how many nights a week do you listen to Sleep With Me? How many episodes a week do you listen to Sleep With Me? We're really in a position, to be honest, we need about 700 people that are listening right now to sign up and support the show directly at Patreon as I plan out next year. And can we continue at the same number of new free episodes in 2023? And we could just use the people that it's not even everybody. You got to say, well, I only listen or I'm new. No worries. I'm not in a position to do so. No worries. We have a lot of listeners. It's just getting these messages through to people because, you're falling asleep. It's not convenient. But I do need your help. 700 of you. So that's you that's listening. If you could afford 10 or 20 bucks a month, $5 a month, or maybe cut back on one of the streaming services that you already use that you don't use as much as Sleep With Me, I love making the show. I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful from the listeners I hear from that are positively impacted by the show, especially when they're having a really, really tough time. And all that's made possible by the people that support the show, really. And there's free ways to support the show, but right now we do need more support than we currently have to put out the same number of episodes as we did last year. So I'm just asking directly, and it's really humbling, to be honest, and not, you could hear it in my voice. So I'm only asking if you listen to Sleep With Me 3 or 4 nights a week, or you listen all night long, you can afford to support the show at $5, $10, or $20 a month. Maybe I'm, pausing here to try to get through to the people that are in a position to do so. And that the answer to those two questions is this: yeah, listen to Sleep With Me on a regular basis. And yeah, I could afford it. I know there's 700 people out there that the answer is yes, because I know all the numbers for the show. So please, if you're one of those 700 people that the answer is yes, you listen to Sleep With Me 2, 3, 4 times a week. If the answer is yes, that Sleep With Me has changed your life in a positive way, and the answer is yes, you could afford $5, 10, or $20 a month to support the podcast that has positively impacted you and tons of other people who can't support the show. I'd love to just get this done and then be like, okay, we're going to put out the same number of episodes in 2023 we did in 2022, same number of free shows. So please, I'm going to pause one more time here. sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. And you get ad-free episodes, you get a ton of fun stuff too. It's a fun thing. Just had to get serious for a minute because, yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't like being serious. So that's another reason let's get this going. Thanks, everybody. Hey, welcome over. Good to see you. Good to have you over here. So I realize it's, this is the season when cooking. I know Thanksgiving already passed, but I decided to invite you over for, I guess it would be a side dish party. Because I said, well, I thought I would teach you these two different things you could cook for side dishes for either Thanksgiving or Christmas or for meals of their own. And, I thought we'd have a little bit of fun. So what do you say we get in the car here and head out to Trader Joe's as we always do and get our shopping done. And one is going to have a decent amount of ingredients and the other one is going to not have a lot of ingredients. So here we go. All right, so here we are at Trader Joe's. Of course, I know you're going to ask before we go in. And no, I don't have. I actually have been. What's lighter than a crush? That's what being attracted to someone is, correct? Is that because I'm how I'm not able to interact with I have issues being a human. You're laughing again. Well, that's true. Well, I guess I'll be honest with you. There's I feel attraction. Maybe that's a sign I'm growing as a person. I don't need the protection of a crush. Do you think that's an improvement, or do you think I'm retrograding or whatever? Is that what they call it? Am I retrograding, or am I? Because I just say, well, geez, is it devolving? I don't know, but it doesn't matter. Whether it's attraction or crush, I keep it to myself, just like Nana would say. Oh boy, so I just don't worry about it. I don't worry. You're worried the other way. Well, no, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I don't need to be embarrassed. I don't need any more embarrassment. I've got that taken care. Anyway, we're here to cook, believe it or not. And here we go right into the entrance to Trader Joe's, not to speak of this again, because we got here right on the right side is our, this section, this particular. Now, they have done some moving around here. They've expanded their frozen foods a little bit. And so here in the first section here, the spoilables. I don't know what a grocery store is called. I call it I would say the spoilables. We've got our stuff, so we got to get. Somebody should get a shopping list. Why don't you go get? Let's start easy. To get a bag of potatoes. I think they're called russet potatoes, but the potatoes. We're gonna make mashed potatoes. And these are going to be very traditional food. So go grab some mashed potatoes. Great. And I think of the other things that we need. Okay, celery. We're going to make stuffing. Yeah. Oh, good. That was fast with the potatoes. So we need celery. We need sage. We need parsley. Yep, right there. We're in the herb section. Two yellow onions. Well, I think majoram. I don't know if we need majoram or the other one. We want it thyme or majoram. I need thyme. Believe me, I don't know. So let's just get both, and then we can freeze whatever we don't use. And cross my fingers not to forget. We also need an herb that comes in a tube that's special to Trader Joe's. That's going to add a little delish to this. And 2 yellow onions, great. And we have garlic at home, so we won't need an extra garlic. We could get it. You're right. You could do. Did I ever teach you that? Putting roasted garlic and mashed potatoes. These ones we won't. These are going to be the most unhealthy mashed potatoes ever made. Why? Because they're going to be good. That's why. They only have a few ingredients. I think that's it so we have celery, onions, chop, and chop. And then the herbs and the garlic. I think that's all we need. I may be forgetting something. And then grab some eggs. We're going to need some eggs right over there, right? Yeah, attraction. No, it's not. It's attraction. Yes, you're catching attraction, but that's not that's different than a crush. What's the difference between attraction and a crush? Attraction, crush, you think about the person maybe once in a while. You say, Where attraction, you say, whoa, my insides just said, I'm happy to see you, but I hadn't thought about you since the last time. Okay, maybe I do need help. I told you I need help shopping for ingredients because now we're going to get two different kinds of bread. That's one of the secrets of this stuffing. Thanks to Trader Giotto. In all their wisdom, they finally started stocking a dark rye bread, a pumpernickel style. So see that down there? Grab that. And then we're going to grab a sourdough wheat. You could grab like a regular sourdough next time, but that'll give us a little bit, I don't think there's any way we could make this healthy, but you could pretend. Now we're going to get two. Okay, great. So we have two things of bread. And I'll tell you what, this might sound crazy, but I also have these same things of bread at home. But if you were going to do it, if we were going to really use this bread, what we do is just rip these bread bags open a little bit. And we're going to get the bread exposed to supermarket air. Probably not the best idea, but this is just for, this is just the magic of podcasts anyway. So those are expressed to the air now. Now we're going to get two entire boxes of butter, whatever the heck they come in a pound. I don't know. Just two of those unsalted butters. Thank you. Great. And now in certain world, in the world of non-convenience, we'd get heavy cream, but then we would need to, then I'm not comfortable if we don't use all the heavy cream. So we'll just get milk. But heavy cream we could use, but we won't get, I don't know. You surprise me. All right, so let me take a look. So we have butter, potatoes, and milk for the potatoes. And then let's see, we have bread, celery, broth. Okay, so let's go down this aisle here. I mean, we could go back down the frozen aisle. No, don't have any. No, we're not going to talk about that on the podcast. I think we did. Like, if I was going to, that would be the dessert section would be where I would, if I had any charm in me, and I ran into anyone in the frozen food section, that's where I would want my charm to turn on. Yeah, my charm is frozen. You're right. Well, I just think desserts are just they show a meal has been completed. So that means things are going well. What dessert are we going to have for tonight? I don't know. I believe it or not, I have an idea at home about dessert, non-consumption desserts. Or we could just drink eggnog. That's lately what I've been doing for dessert is having a half gallon of eggnog. No, I'm not kidding. No, don't laugh because it's not funny. Okay. Yeah, we'll do, eggnog doesn't have alcohol in it usually. I mean, when I would drink alcohol, by the time someone would drink eggnog, I even would buy the ingredients, but then I'd say, well, I already got my drink. I don't need any friggin' eggnog. That's got a lot of junk in it. Clog me up. But yeah, so I drink a lot of eggnog during the holidays. Okay, so where were we? We were talking about eggnog, milk. I was trying to, broth. We could get turkey broth or chicken broth. I would say just get chicken broth. If they did have bone broth, that would be great. I mean, I think most of your bone broths are better. Well, I guess a chicken bone broth would be good, or a turkey bone broth. What about just poultry bone broth? Why is that so hard for me to say? Poultry bone broth. Doesn't it sound a bit like one word, like supercalifragilistic? Poultry bone broth. It sounds like something like the Country Time lemonade. That definitely doesn't mix with lemonade, but say country bone broth. Like, calm down and relax. Doesn't it? And that's what country bone broth would do. Maybe that could be our company, like by men. And you say, get all your country bone broth. That would be like our little tagline. Country bone broth. You're right, I shouldn't make that whistling noise at the end. But yeah, come get our broth, the best bone broth there is. Here at Country Bone Broth. You like that? It's a bit like a Tibetan bowl. You're right, but not. How about a Tibetan bowl of country bone broth? Yeah, so delicious. But just let's get turkey broth. Get two things because they'll last. I'm not good at calculating ingredient amounts and stuff anyway. And then let's just since we're here, let's get the iced tea. Let's get four things of this kind of German mineral water I like. And then some country bone broth, some coconut water and coconut aloe water just for the podcast. Just might as well stack up while we're here. And yeah, I think we're all set. It doesn't really matter what aisle we check out in because I'm not bluffing. No, I'm not bluffing. I'm not bluffing. I don't have a current crush. Like I said, there's people I'm attracted to. That's called the world. It's normal. Oh, did I just say that too loud? Great. That didn't sound weird anyway. That's totally normal to be attracted to people that work at stores or other places. And just to keep it to yourself, of course. Okay, so let's just get checked out. Why don't you check out and I'll check, because I'm blushing now. You realize I have to shop here all the time. Okay, let's go. Okay, and by the magic power of a podcast, I'll meet you at home. Well, hey, great to see you. So here we go. I got back with the groceries while you were still checking out. That's podcast magic. And we're going to need to get right to work. So what I need you to do is I already washed some of the celery. So I need you to cut the cut the ends off and then, the tops off. And then cut them in half, down the lengthwise in half and then chop them. How much celery? I don't, I don't operate with those kind of numbers. I would say this thing is 4 cups. So let's say, I don't know, an equal amount of it to the onions, maybe 3 cups of celery, we'll say. And then we're going to chop, there you go, you chop fast. And then, yeah, we're gonna cook a lot of butter. So I'm melting butter in here, a whole thing and a half. So I don't know what that is, 3/4 of a cup or something. Yeah, a stick and a half of butter's in there. Yes, it's terrible. Wait till you see the potatoes. You've seen nothing. So that is melting in there, butter. And now you're gonna chop that whole yellow onion. I don't know why I got 2. We only need 1. But you can never have enough onions. Come on. And yeah, see that? Let's measure that. It's about 3.5 cups of whole onion. Well, about close. Okay, we're going to put all that in there. And I just need you we're going to slowly, you want me to stir. Okay, and then grab some sage. Oh, rosemary. That was what we forgot, but that's okay. I have a rosemary bush, and so we're covered. So okay, you'll grab okay, so sage. Okay, I'm getting excited. You're right. So sage, I would say a tablespoon, like just one handful of sage leaves. Great. And then about the same of rosemary. I would say maybe a little bit and a half more of rosemary. Chop those up, right? And then chop up the thyme, maybe the majority of the thyme, maybe a teaspoon each, not a huge amount. Yeah. And then as far as parsley goes, let's see, 1, 2, 3, let's do 3 tablespoons of parsley. That's, yeah, a lot of parsley. Well, no, don't worry. And, I prefer this curve, I don't know why, sometimes the flat leaf parsley tastes oily to me. So that's why I prefer this this kind of parsley. But I got nothing against it. And they're slowly starting to brown. The onions get translucent right now, and the celery. This is like a roux. A roux would have roux, sweet pickles. A roux would have carrots, I think, and then we'd add flour. So we're not making a roux right this moment, no. Okay, great. And then all the herbs are chopped. Okay, and then I'm going to put some garlic. Yeah, about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. Just chop those up. Separate them from the herbs because garlic's going to go in as soon as it's chopped. Great. And then I have a cube of frozen basil or whatever, and then maybe just a tiny bit of oregano. We don't want to over herb it, but we don't want to under herb it, Okay, put the garlic in. Yeah, that smells good. Oh boy. And we're going to keep stirring. Look at all that butter in there. Oh boy, is that good. Oh, what's that other smell? That's the bread. I did before you got here. We got about 9 to 10 cups of bread. 50-50 of the wheat bread, sourdough wheat, and the pumpernickel or the dark rye. It's baking in the oven, cubed up, yes. So I did do that with that. It's incredibly boring, even for a sleep podcast, to cube bread. And I actually have a cubing song, so I can't sing on the podcast. A song I wrote for cubing the bread. It just goes, it's more of a chant, cubing the bread, cubing the bread. I'm cubing the bread. It's a chant. I guess it's not a song. Yeah, you could check the oven. Just see, go ahead and squeeze a couple of things of bread and see if they're hard. Not yet. Right. Not yet. Okay, let's get all these herbs in here in the pot, and we're going to keep stirring. Just keep stirring. And we got this big bowl here. So what we're going to do, we don't want to overcook the herbs for sure. But yeah, keep stirring it, keep stirring. Okay, that's good. Pull it off, and pour it all into that bowl, everything out of it. Now you don't have to clean it. Get a little. This is where we saving of labor here. So get everything, all the herbs and butter in there, 90%. Oh, very good. You got it empty, but there's still stuff stuck in the sides and the bottom. Now fill up that pot with water, almost, and put it on the stove. Don't turn it on though, and then cube all the potatoes while this cools. This herb and butter mix. And as you cube the potatoes, I'll check the bread. And the bread's pretty much there. So I'm gonna pull the bread out of the oven for us and put it up here. And the bread's going to cool off. And yeah, that's how I usually do the potatoes. I like to cut them in half lengthwise. And I guess technically we'll do smashed potatoes. I wash the potatoes, but I don't take the skins off. It's just too much. I don't see why, actually. I don't see, I guess if this, so then, okay, we're going to put all the potatoes in. We're going to turn the pot on high here. Yeah, so the pot's on high, and you can put a top on. It'll take a while for that to go to a boil. And so while we wait for that to boil, we're going to take the bread, and we're going to put it in the bowl with the mix, the herb mix, okay, and just start coating it. Yeah, just spin, stir. Yeah, I do have a slotted spoon. That's why it's not a slotted spoon, though. It's a holed spoon. It's a spoon with holes. I don't know what a slotted spoon is. What's the spoon that has the things that make it look like it has spikes? Is that a slotted spoon? I don't know. This spoon has holes. I call it a slotted spoon because it's good for mixing bread and herbs. Keep going. Really toss it without tossing anything. Want to get all the bread soaking up that butter and stuff. Keep going. I'm going to prepare some broth here. How much broth? 1.25 cups of broth is how much broth I'm going to prepare for this. And then we won't be done with the broth, so we're not going to put it away. Okay, how's your time? Okay, so now take the broth and pour the broth over the bread and keep stirring it and let the bread soak up that broth with all the other stuff. Keep going. Okay, great. Now keep this by the window here so it keeps cooling. Why? Well, we need it to cool because what we're going to do now, Amy Cool, Kule, she's the producer of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Bet you didn't know. You do know that because you listen to the podcast. Great. Okay, so in this bowl here that I have in front of you, we are going to take 1/4 cup, 1.25 cups, or 1/4 cup of broth. Again, this is not a bake. I mean, we're baking, but not baker. We're not making cookies. Well, it's pretty important because you don't want it to be too saggy or too wet. But believe me or not, I know when it comes to this kind of stuff, I kind of know what I'm doing, barely. So yeah, about a cup and a quarter, and then crack. You're gonna mix these two. You're gonna whip these 2 eggs in there. Yeah, just mix it up. Mix it up. This is our binder. And yeah, keep mixing. Now I preheated the oven to 350, but also magical 350. So we can discuss that in a little while. But so in that the bread mixture actually cooled magically too. So what we're gonna do is as the potatoes start to come to a boil. First, let's get this done. They're not boiling yet. What we're going to do is, mix that, pour that in with pour the egg and broth mixture in with and just keep mixing with that slotted spoon. Good thing I've allotted the spoon of slotted for you because you're doing a great job mixing that up. You are. Yeah, so just keep mixing them. And I have this pan here, and you can buy a foil pan, or you could use like a baker, oven safe dish like this. You just get butter, butter it up. I'm using the Trader Joe's butter spray. Oh my goodness, you're right. We forgot an ingredient from Trader Joe's. Luckily, I have it here. You're so right. I told you to cross your fingers and you forgot. It's this unami paste. Thank goodness we remember before we put it in the oven-proof dish while you're still tossing. So we're going to take a tablespoon of tsunami paste. I don't know how well. Let's do a teaspoon. I mean, yeah, and you're right, not a tablespoon. But we'll do 2 teaspoons of the tsunami paste into the stuffing. It has extra ingredients. It just will hopefully it'll give like a tiny, undetectable extra layer of mouthfeel. Or just like a little bit of umami pungency, but barely detectable at 2 teaspoons. And just mix that in. You can taste it. It does taste. It's good. I mean, yeah. Well, if you look at the ingredients, then you're gonna overthink it when you eat it. I don't know, fermented stuff. I think maybe like fermented, fermented things and non-fermented things are in there in a good way. Oh, what is it exactly? And they're fermented unami slugs. That's what makes the unami paste from the planet unami. Yeah, yeah. That's more charming than my dessert material. So I guess I should hang around the unami paste then. Yeah, well, maybe I tried hanging around the ginger paste and then they said, please don't stand by the pastes anymore, sir. And I said, okay, I'll just paste around these pastes, the tastes of these pastes, is why I walk with haste. That's not charming. I realize, anyway, we're in the middle of, so that's ready. So let's get it in the dish. You can just start spooning in the dish. Now, I prefer, this is, I think, a decision whether you fall on a drier stuffing or a denser, more bread pudding stuffing or an even denser, more liquidy stuffing. I prefer just a plop like that. And then there's like the density will come from the settling. And you can see we got a nice liquid mixture and the bread doesn't look like it's absorbed everything, but not over absorbed where it's. So yeah, I prefer my stuffing dense, but not too dense and light, like it was, I don't, but it doesn't matter. No one's going to care. It's, I mean, I guess this one it will be because I guess this is the main course. But just, okay, cover it up with foil and we're going to stick it in the oven. That's great. You did perfect. Wonderful. Okay, now we're going to check the potatoes are boiling, so we're going to lower the temperature, leave the cover on, and we'll simmer those for like about 10 minutes. Oh, how long is the stuffing going to stay in the oven? Well, in a normal human oven, 40 minutes, but ours, it's, I did the movies thing where I put, there's already some stuffing in there. I know it's real-time recipes, but it's not real. Like, can you imagine a real-time turkey recipe? Come on. Even the real time, it's real time. Like we're really, okay, this is my podcast. I don't need you. There's 2 stuffings in the oven, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so 40 minutes. It goes in the oven for about 40 minutes. Oh, you want to check it to make sure, yeah, it's cooked, but I don't know the temperature. This is just this is a, fictional recipe that could be non-fictionalized, but at your own risk. I don't know. You do want to make sure it's cooked, that it's totally cooked. What I like to do is at 40 minutes, just take the foil off and see if the stuffing's starting to develop. And if not, you can leave the cover off, and you can see what your liquid, like how dry it is versus how dry you like your stuffing. So it could take a couple generations of stuffing to say, well, this is the best stuffing I've ever made. Okay, and to get our potatoes ready, it's pretty simple. We're going to get a colander here in the sink over a bowl. That other bowl will rinse out, the one that had the, oh, yeah, you're right. We got to wash it out because it had eggs in it. So we'll wash that out. We're going to wash that bowl, wash it right out of my hair. So we'll have that ready. And then we're going to put a stick of butter into this big bowl that we'll also wash out first. You're right. I guess, yeah, because it had eggs too. You're right. Yeah, so we'll wash that out. And, yeah, so those bowls are washed and the butter is in there. So we'll melt this butter. That's just 1 stick of butter. We'll be using many, many sticks of butter, but in a certain manner that I like to release my butter. So let's melt that. And then we got a few minutes. So I had an idea I'd run by you. Oh, so what are we going to do today? Well, see what I have here. If you close your eyes, I have a surprise. The year was 2014, and my intention was to buy something and follow through on it, and then the year was 2015, and my intention was to use the thing I bought in 2014, and maybe at an ironic date like the 4th of July, and then it became the 2015 winter. And I purchased another one of these, and then it became, so I have 2 gingerbread kits from Trader Joe's. Well, that's why we didn't buy one this time. No, yeah, I'm not kidding. I wish I was. This one is from 2014, and this one is from 2015. They look identical, except that I did open the 2014 partially, and then I couldn't find the will to say, well, she's got to clear off a whole table for this. And so we'll make one of these, and maybe our guests, if we have some guests come, they can make the 2015 one. Oh, well, which one? You can't possibly, you don't eat a gingerbread house anyway, do you? We can make one of them could be a gingerbread fairy house. Well, it could make animals sick, you're right, but it could make them happy. They'd say, or if we could be creating the woman from Hansel and Gretel on a smaller scale. We'll give her a gingerbread home. Well, what you could just take it home as a party favor instead of leaving it outside. How's that sound? Great. Okay, so here's a big Ziploc bag. We'll use that as our icing thing. And here's the box with the icing, and you just mix, say, have lemons, and you just mix, we'll mix up 1 egg white here. And then Koa, good news, Koa, you get an egg yolk, so we'll fry this egg yolk for Koa. And yeah, if we have guests, we'll make another batch. So Koa, you will get 2 egg yolks, good news. So yeah, just mix that up in there. And, yeah, so that's your icing pack. And then I don't know what guests we have coming, to be honest, because you didn't invite any Trader Joe's workers. You invited 2. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Okay, well, which 2? Oh, you invited more than 2. Oh, boy, hey, hi. Oh, yeah, I do. You do. I have seen you before. Yeah, hi. Oh, hello. Yeah, you're good. I guess you're in charge of the samples. I noticed you were doing a great job with the tapioca with the cinnamon in there. I loved that. Well, yeah, this is my friend. I hate to spring a Trader Joe's. You might be Trader Joe'd out, but these are actually vintage. One of these is from 2014 and one of these is from 2015. Oh, how do I know which one's from 2015? Yeah, you're right. The boxes are identical, which doesn't exactly give me great, but I guess gingerbread material, as long as it's sealed, can last forever, huh? And plus, you don't eat it. So, yeah, this is the 20. And then you could, why don't we break up into teams? Everyone can go out in the back there, and I'll lay out because I'm cooking with these. Oh, you're going to stay and help me. Oh, that's a beautiful name. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I do spend a lot of time in the produce section. Okay, well, my friend, okay, so we're going to have a little contest. Yeah, because they have little gummies. And what are those, like fake M&Ms? Are those those mints? Okay, and then little sprinkles. Those are cool. And little people. Are those made from marzipan? A marzipan family. Maybe that I like how that sounds. A marzipan family. You're laughing. You think I'm funny, huh? Yeah. Do you find people more charming near the pastes or the desserts? Right, the desserts. How do you feel about unami? No, no, not tsunami. Unami. Unami. Oh, that sounds like so you've said that before. Unami. Ooh, see, maybe we don't have the. Oh, we do have the oven on. Okay, so let me check here on the potatoes. Yes, we're making mashed potatoes. Yeah, they about 5 more minutes, and then stuffing. Yeah, we're having stuffing and mashed potatoes for dinner. So, turkey gravy. Did you bring turkey gravy? You did. Oh, that's great. And the ginger, the ones with the pop top ginger soda is awesome. Well, I just realized this kit comes with its own icing thing. I didn't realize, even though we made our own. Well, yeah, it's an interesting marzipan family. So there's a dog. The dog's name is Rolf. And then there's a Helga. That's what this person's name is. Yeah, they're the older. That's why they have a cane and a hat. They're older and wise. And then neutral. They don't know. It's just Helga. And then these two are the Gorf twins. Yeah, Gorf, Gorf, the Gorf twins. These two marzipan children are the Gorf twins. They live with Helga. You haven't heard the adventures of Helga and the Gorf twins? It's a very famous gingerbread press. 2029 gingerbread press. Helga and the Gorf twins. It's a new. Like, once people forget about Cam Jansen and Geronimo Stilton, and then they start to have those kids, those adults that forgot about them, and then they have children. That'll be around 2029, I think. Well, maybe not. Yeah, I guess so. And that's when I'll start my series, Helga and the Gorf twins. It'll be, well, maybe I'll just buy up the, do you think, when does the things expire on Geronimo Stilton and Cam Jansen or Encyclopedia Brown? I mean, I could write my own. I mean, Helga and the Gorf twins, that writes them. They could just have candy-based mystery, the candy mysteries. Does anybody do that already? You don't know. Oh, why are you're leaning against me as okay, I don't know what to say. Helga and the Gorf twins. Oh, that's what I was talking about. Yeah. Oh, what's Gingerbread Press? It is my fictional imprint. Yeah, it's the publishing arm of a fictional part of my brain that doesn't exist. It's a imprint, like a publishing house for fiction? No. Close, very close. It's a fictional printer of fiction. And some nonfiction, actually. Yeah, it's an imprint from a fictional. I don't know what the publisher would be, but it's an imprint, Gingerbread Press. It's my fictional publishing arm. Like I said, it publishes fiction and nonfiction. Oh, don't I mean imaginary? Well, I guess I could mean imaginary. But I prefer fictional. But yeah, so that's where that'll be the publisher of Helga and the Gorf twins. Yeah, I'd like it. I do. And I guess like the secret they'll all hold is that by solving the mysteries, they're really saving themselves by saving each other and solving the mysteries. One of those ones where they're feeding some deeper needs, but we don't need to know that. That'd be subtextual, ideally. Why did I choose Gingerbread Press? I don't remember. To be honest, it was probably the tons of gingerbread I have around here, in store, because I was storing gingerbread. How did you know I was writing erotic nonfiction? Well, I don't know if I ever need any help. You're pretty fun. I think I'll be honest. You're very, yeah. I don't know what else. Oh, everybody's coming in with their gingerbread houses now. Great job. Oh boy, is that a gingerbread yurt? That is nice. So we have a gingerbread yurt, and what is that? That is a gingerbread commune. I like it. A gingerbread yurt should be on a gingerbread commune. And what is yours? Oh, gingerbread. That's a gingerbread tower. Yeah, Tower of Commerce. That's great. So very contrasting. Oh no, who wins? Everyone wins when you, as long as you don't eat the gingerbread house, because again, they're from 24. I wasn't kidding when I said they're 2014, 2015 models. Oh, we seem to be getting along good in here. We are. I mean, so the potatoes are ready. So just so everybody knows, don't eat the gingerbread again. I can't be. Don't do that. Those we could. I guess you could. Yeah, I'm a bit heady here. So we're gonna mash the potatoes here. I didn't realize it would be such an audience event, but it is this is an event to behold. So gather ye round. Oh, was I Helga and the Gorp twins? Once upon a time, this is who I learned how to churn mashed butter potatoes. I don't know what else to call it. So yeah, we're gonna just strain the potatoes, and then we're gonna strain into the bowl so we just have a little bit of potato water if we need it. Now, my lady, if you could have another stick of butter at the ready, even cut it in half if you wish, and then have another stick of butter at the ready after that. Oh yeah, 3 sticks of butter minimum. Okay, so good draining. So then we're gonna put them in this bowl with the butter. And then I don't have a potato masher. I just have this giant fork, and it's a very stiff, big fork for like salad or something. It's great for mashing. And yeah, just start crushing everything. Yeah, and right now it's not very, so just crush it into the butter and mash and mash and mash and mash. And the butter's getting absorbed, and just keep mashing. Yeah, you're breaking up. See, we cooked it the right amount. See, there's no uncooked potato in there, so that's good. And yeah, there's a little bit of the herbs left, tiny bit from the first cook we did. Take out your papers in your trash. Hey, potatoes we're about to mash. Okay, let's put that other stick of butter in there because the potatoes are still hot. We could switch it up. Yeah, it does get tiring. I'll do a little mashing. Oh, you're gonna mash. Oh boy, mash away. Mash. No, don't do gentle mashing. Yeah, gentle mashing. No. And yeah, just start folding, and that butter's going to melt pretty fast. And I don't know how's everybody feel? Like, what's your comfort level with, communal eating? Because I do like to start to taste right out of the thing, but normally no one would see me, and then I wouldn't tell them. They would just eat it. But I can do something fancy, okay, that's good that you're honest. I'll just take a spoon and eat off the spoon and then wash the spoon. Is that comfortable for you? Great. So glad we have this atmosphere of honesty. You must live in a gingerbread yurt. Maybe that's where Helga would live. If I had a podcasting studio, I could do a yurt. It wouldn't. What's the difference between a yurt? I guess is a yurt cheaper? Well, I guess I don't have anywhere to put a yurt anyway. But anyway, so yeah, good mashing. Okay, so no, I think let's do another half stick of butter before we add any milk. Yeah, because see, the potatoes are still like, yeah, they're not going to get whipped yet, but they're getting more and more buttery. And just keep mashing and mashing. That stick of butter. And now I'm going to add some milk. And I don't know how much, a quarter cup just to start. And keep it. Yeah, now you'll do a little bit more whipping as we start to get to this better consistency. We're still a ways away, believe it or not. Still a ways away. But you are good. Okay, I think we'll probably use another quarter of milk here, but not yet. I'm going to do 2 finger fills of salt, so just 2 pinches of salt. And then I'm going to take my first taste. Oh, boy. You want to put a spoon? Wow, I don't think it's ever gone this well for me. The guests just come over, we've ever hit it off like this. I'm going to spoon mashed potatoes right into your mouth. Might be too weird. Anyway, it's what do you think? Good? Let me taste. It's getting there. It's getting there. And that definitely needs some milk. It's tough heavy cream would give it a richer flavor, but we're going to do that by butter. And then remember, we're going to get a salty. Oh, good. Thanks for putting that turkey gravy on the stove. Yeah, we're going to get a salt kick from the gravy too. So we got to be careful about our salting, but we don't want to under-season, but we don't want to over-season. Okay, so the second thing is, so we got about a half cup milk. Let's put that next thing of butter in and just keep mashing. Now I'm going to put some pepper and black pepper. Yeah, I would use white pepper from time to time. Maybe not on mashed potatoes, just because actually the black pepper actually gives it, a visual that looks nice. It gives it a little bit more light, so yeah. Yeah, I mean, if it's not mashed potatoes, it's a silly podcast. What can I say? What I overthink is not. Yeah, twice a year it's useful, and the stuffing is looking good. I just checked the stuffing; it is looking good. Looking good? No, looking good. Looking good later. Wow, you're very forward. So okay, so let's let's see. We should be very buttery. Let me get another taste. I would go with another half stick of butter. Just keep whipping it, keep whipping it. We still have the temperature. And why don't you pull out the stuffing, because, they timed that stuffing, the second stuffing to be done. And just see how the steam's coming off? That's good. That's a good sign. And we have a little bit of crust on the top, but it's not, oh boy, we are in business. And that gravy's going. Yippee-ki-yay, as John McClane would say. And yeah, let me taste it. Why don't you taste it and tell me, it's strange? Okay, that's good. So it's strange, almost like there's butter infused into the potatoes. Yeah, we may be at a 50-50 ratio now, so that's where we want to be. So just keep whipping it, and then we'll go straight into serving. So we're going to serve... everybody's going to get a plate of stuffing and a scoop of stuffing, a scoop of mash, a fork of mash. And then, let's make a little pocket in there. And that's the thing. We don't have to add butter. The butter's all in there. So we'll just make another reservoir for gravy. And you could go, there you go. Oh boy. Thanks for the teamwork, grinding that pepper right on there. And so here we go. We all have our plates of stuffing and potatoes. Thankful that now, see how easy that was too. And we could make it again. And these are 2 traditional styles. You can always whip up, you can add apples or any amount of the different things to the stuffing to mix it up. And then the potatoes, you can also, I find this to be this is it's not healthy, but because of the amount of butter. But I think this is preferable. I mean, sometimes a Parmesan or even a little blue cheese or roasted garlic or other things added to the potatoes are good. But in some cases, this traditional butter style, I think it gives it a richness and it plays off the flavor. Oh boy, everybody's digging in now. And I'm thankful for my new friends. Maybe this new friend here. Yeah, thanks. No, you don't have to feed me. That will kill you. That'll kill it fast. Thanks. I don't like to be fed. I don't know why that is. And I'm glad that people felt comfortable enough to tell me not to eat off of their food. That's great. And I'm just glad everybody's having, I hope everybody out there, the holidays are a tough time of year. And to remember that you can make something like this. And also that, we repurposed these ancient, I like these gingerbread houses. You did great on these. But let's just remember to put one, sometimes keep it simple. Just butter, some salt, some milk, and some potatoes. And other times, you bring together all these different flavors and ingredients and, stir them and let them rest and then stir it some more and let them all come together and eat with friends. That's, I think, the moment is, so I'm glad. Thanks so much for taking me to Trader Joe's and inviting these people over that you decided to invite over. And you were asking, do I have any 80s people coming? Usually when we cook, we have people from the 80s. We do. They think they're just running late. They're coming together. Do you hear that noise? That's like a motorcycle pulling up. Does it not sound right? I think I know why. Yeah, that is a man on another man's shoulders coming down the driveway. That's Michael Winslow pretending to be a motorcycle. And that's Bronson Pinchot on the back of Michael Winslow. Yep. Hey, what's up, guys? Come on in. Well, Bronson, man. Whew. It's such a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for taking Michael. Robot. Okay. Just spare change. There you go. My kitchen is a little bit small for sound effects. I'll be honest, Michael. You're great. You're great. Just okay. Yeah, if you could does he turn it off, Bronson? It's good to see you, though. Not only are you a perfectly not a stranger anymore, but what are we having? We're having stuffing and potatoes with gravy. Let me say goodnight to everybody. So that's good night, everybody. We got Bronson and Michael here with our new friends. And I hope that, if you need a recipe for the holidays, those are a couple of easy ones. And I'm thankful for all of you on this long winter's night. Good night. Hey, everybody. As we tuck you in here, I just wanted to let you know, hey, if you're in a position to do so, if you've been listening to a lot of Sleep With Me in 2022, as you hear from people, there's 1,400 minutes in the day about, and as I see people's year-end lists, depending on the app you use, people listen for 7,000 minutes, 6,000 minutes, 33,000 minutes, 17,000 minutes. I know there's even higher numbers. Think about that because a lot of work goes into the show and you supporting the show directly, particularly on Patreon as an annual patron at $10 or $20 a month, but even monthly, supports the work that makes all those minutes possible. So thank you so much. sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. You could support the show. You help it, and I appreciate it. Let me tuck you in there a little bit more. sleepwithmepodcast.com/patron. Thanks.